Good afternoon, sir. Thank you, sir.
Dhatri Reddy,
Yes.
your name. Huh? You are undergoing training here?
Yes, sir. Currently undergoing training in the National Police Academy.
Uh-huh. So you are not happy with police?
I'm extremely happy with the training that's going on, sir, quite frankly.
Yeah. Then why do you want to again appear for this examination?
Sir, to be honest, the IPS has been a childhood dream for me. If you had met me in childhood, I'd be going around telling everyone that I want to be an IPS officer when I grow up. Even now, I find the training absolutely lovely. But the only thing is that when I made a choice to get into the civil services, I made it on the basis that my current personality might suit the administrative services better. So right now, I'm only trying to get into the IPS, not IAS, not leave the IPS.
No, why you think that your current personality is suitable only to IAS?
So I'm not saying it's only suitable to the IAS. Even the IPS is a good choice for me. The thing that I just said is that I'm not exactly leaving the IPS. I'm not trying to run away from the IPS. Rather, just get into the IAS.
Mm-hmm.
Very confusing. You don't want to leave IAS,
she's
but
very
you want to go to IAS.
She's very diplomatic. She'll make a good IFS officer.
Yeah, you should have put IFS as well.
Yeah.
You said that third in state level model United Nations.
Yes.
What is this?
So this was a competition that I took part when I was in school. Model United Nations is like a
Assembly.
Yes,
Unassembly.
Yes, sir. It's like the Unassembly, and each of us become a delegate for a country, and then we have a debate just like in the United Nations.
What debate you have given there?
So I was a delegate of India, sir. We are allowed to ask questions, cross questions, and discuss about the international affairs.
Mm-hmm. So what international affairs actually interested you there?
So this was in my school level, and my understanding of international affairs was quite limited back then. But the most interesting aspect and why I mentioned is that a competition like this at school level has aroused a lot of curiosity in us. That was the first time that we understood that we have these issues with Pakistan and China has this role to play, and all of these aspects we explored for the first time.
What is the role of United Nations in solving the problem between India and China? India and Pakistan?
India and Pakistan, sir, currently United Nations doesn't really have that much of it's not that big a stakeholder, because India and Pakistan both claim that the issue is bilateral and they want to solve it through mutual talks rather than a third party getting involved.
Pakistan also says that bilateral.
So Pakistan tries to involve other countries, mostly its own allies, that it can positively influence for its stand. But India maintains stand that it's a bilateral issue. As far as the UN is concerned, it is only limiting its role to maintaining the line of control.
Okay. How they are maintaining the line of control, line of actual control they call it, line of control.
Line of control, sir. So the UN only monitors that whether or not it is being obeyed by both the parties. It is only restricted to that much, sir.
Ceasefire violations.
Yes, sir.
basically.
Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned that your mother is a housewife and gets an annual income of 5 lakhs. Is
Yes.
it from agriculture or real estate property?
So it
rents?
is from some common rents and things like that.
You have some property in Hyderabad?
Yes, sir.
Who controls the ownership of your property to ensure that nobody else takes away?
So the property is on my mother's name, sir.
Okay. And how is it regulated?
Uh,
If somebody else wants to write his name in the records, can he do it?
no, sir, because there is a proper system where the records are made, land records.
Where is your mother's name recorded as owner?
In the land records, sir, as far as I know.
But it's a house. If it is a house, which land records has that detail?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware where
Municipality?
exactly. Yes, sir.
You come under GHMC?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, all right. Have you heard of something called TS IPAS, being from Telangana state and Hyderabad, in the context of ease of doing business?
Yes, I pass.
There is one legislation called the TS IPAS. Have you heard of it? No.
Not exactly, sir. Sorry.
Do you know something about ease of doing business?
Yes, sir, I'm aware of it.
Explain ease of doing business with reference to what is happening in Telangana and what is the rank of Telangana in the comment of states in the country.
Yes, sir. Ease of doing business is an index wherein states are ranked based on the ease that they provide for companies to carry out business here. And Telangana has consistently been performing in one of the top states in the index. It has taken various measures like giving automatic approvals if it's not given within a certain period of time, and also allowing investments to enter with greater ease through faster permissions and all.
So TS IPAS is one of those initiatives that have been taken.
Yes, sir, but I wasn't sure, so I didn't mention.
What are the sources of drinking water for Hyderabad, the city?
So for city, I think it's the river water only. Godavari and Krishna rivers, we divert water and use it here.
How is it diverted?
Not aware, sir.
Not aware. Have you heard of Gandipet and Himayat Sagar?
Yes, sir, yes.
What are they?
These are artificially created water bodies to store water.
Were they ever used as sources of drinking water for Hyderabad city? Gandipet
Yes, sir.
need.
Yes, sir. Earlier it used to be used, sir. Even Musi water was used as a source of drinking water earlier, but
Even now, Gandipet and Himayat Sagar
yes.
are constructed over Isa and Musa, which together is called Musi.
Musi, yes.
What is wrong with these reservoirs and water bodies in Hyderabad? Is there any problem with them?
Sir, I think Musi river doesn't have the flow to maintain ecological flow of water. So the water has gotten polluted because of dumping of waste and sewage, everything. So now it is not that fit for drinking.
And what is the problem with Himayat Sagar and Usman Sagar?
So these bodies are shrinking because of lack of water, and also there's accumulation of weeds and other stuff.
Why is there no water in these bodies?
So because there's been the catchment area is being occupied, and that prevents the flow of water, and also there's dumping of waste and sewage. So this becomes a vicious cycle where the quality of water keeps decreasing.
So what is the future for Hyderabad if these drinking water sources are shrinking and if the other sources are polluted?
Yes.
So what should be done to ensure that we are a sustainable city from the point of view of drinking water?
So a revival of these water bodies and Musi river is of paramount importance, sir. And also we can adapt measures regarding rainwater harvesting, improving our groundwater, and other measures like that, sir.
You are living in an apartment.
Yes, sir.
What rainwater harvesting methods have been introduced in the apartment by the Owners Association?
So we have a harvest pit, sir, rainwater harvesting pit, where the water gets collected and it is sent underground so that it recharges the underground water.
You use it for drinking water purposes?
Sir, ever since there's RO technology, I think some of them are using, but otherwise we use the municipal water that comes, sir. But we have noticed an improvement in underground water since we adapted the rainwater harvesting. Before that, in summers we had extreme scarcity of water, sir.
Okay. Have you heard of something called the Consolidated Fund of India, Consolidated Fund of Telangana State, Public Account, Contingency Fund?
Yes, sir, I have.
Can you explain these three funds?
So Consolidated Fund of India is where the revenue and claims are made in the national level. Similarly, Consolidated Fund of Telangana State would be where the revenues get deposited and the withdrawals are made. So Public Account is a fund which is not controlled by the state legislature as such. As in, it is the revenues and the withdrawals are not made from the public account.
They are not controlled by legislature or they are not made? Withdrawals are not made from public account?
Oh, they are made, sir, they are made, but
They
permanent
don't
sources
have-
of revenue are not sent to the public account, rather they get into the consolidated funds.
What get credited to the public account?
Sir, I'm not able to recall, sir. Sorry.
What about contingency fund?
So contingency fund has, I think, short-term sources, so it is controlled by the executive and not the legislature.
You had some exposure to United Nations. You have some familiarity with it, right?
So as in I took part in the competition.
I know the background. Why are we not getting permanent seat in Security Council? India.
So because there's a lot of resistance towards changing the status quo. These incumbent powers are very reluctant to give up their powers, because if a new country has to enter the United Nations Security Council, the existing powers have to give up some of their privileges. Otherwise, new countries can't be accommodated, and there is a resistance from that quarter. And also the countries that are attempting to get into the UNSC, they're not all united. They don't all agree on a common stand as to what their powers are going to be when they get into the council. So these are the two reasons, sir.
Actually, who calls the shots in UNO? I think all the moneyed 5 countries only they call the shots.
Yes, sir, that is
So-
true.
So you agree?
So, as in
Point blank.
to an extent, sir, it can't be denied that the countries that give funding will always have a sphere of influence that is bigger than a country which doesn't give funding. So, to an extent, that has been true, sir.
But as an international forum, yeah, is it really serving the needs and requirements, or rather the objectives for which it was formed?
Sir, it was formed to prevent any kind of major wars.
So there is a sense of disappointment, particularly in the third world, that nothing gets done in UNO. Somebody behind, like US and France, they call the shots, and we don't get heard and things like that.
Sir, UNSC makes major security related decisions where the power has been made by the top countries like P5, but other decisions wherein the whole UN general body gets to vote, there I think there is more democratic way of making decisions. The UN has been successful to the extent that there has not been any huge World War level incidents that have repeated. So over there through mediation and talks it has been successful to that extent.
Now, we keep hearing about, demand for reservation in private sector as well. What is your view on that?
So my
Is it
view,
something that we should welcome, or is it something that we should keep away from it?
so at the moment I believe that that is something we should keep away from. We should first give adequate importance in creating a level playing field for everyone in aspects such as early education, socialization, getting them ready for job. Only if we have given 100% in these measures and we still find that it's lacking, that's when we should go for reservations, sir.
No, which means actually someone with a lot of capital, he wants to hire talent, and after all, why does one invest? Only to make profits, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So, but at the same time, there is also issues called social justice.
Yes, sir.
After all, government can't be the sole employer. And at the same time, let's say a state like Telangana, if someone comes with a lot of money, and then he's also using the state resources such as the land, the water, and he will also pollute the air. So why not government impose a condition and say, all right, you take some people, you also follow the rule of reservation. Okay.
Yes, sir. So social justice is important and states one of the most important responsibilities of the state. However, we need to explore more efficient ways of ensuring social justice. That is through focusing on the other aspect, the preparatory aspects. It creates a more level playing field and also encourages the private sector to come to our state, because that way they'll be hiring the best talent.
So you mean we make them these socially disadvantaged sections more competent, in a sense?
So,
Is that how you would ensure their entry into the private sector?
so I would say give them more opportunities. Like get them better educated, get them ready for jobs, give them the exposure that
Exactly,
they otherwise.
that's what I meant.
Yes.
Make them more competent to become eligible to get into those
Yes,
jobs.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll just give you a hypothetical situation. You are a woman and you are asked to be as a police officer, probably tomorrow as an IAS officer. You will be asked to, be a judge in a beauty contest.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Now, in the beauty contest, there is invariably a bikini law,
Okay.
right? And then, assuming you are SP of that district, and the very next day you will go and raid some bar where the same scantily clad woman is dancing.
Okay, sir.
So, what would be your response to that situation? Here you are a judge, and the next day, in the same attire, someone is dancing, and you treat it as, issue of morality, issue of public order, decency, etc., etc.
Yes, sir. So, first of all, I'd like to make it clear that I wouldn't become a judge in a contest where scantily clad women are being judged. I've always been against beauty pageants my entire life. But given that it's a hypothetical situation and I've already been a judge, if I find the scantily clad woman dancing in a bar, it is her right to profession and her right to employment that she's there. The people who will be held liable in this situation is the ones who are running the illegal bar and the people who are there, and not the lady instead. So that is my opinion.
Oh, I see. So you will not see it as a problem of decency, morality, or anything, but pure violation of law.
Yes, sir. Because it's the lady's right to employment as well. If she's not able to find any other employment, if her skill set allows her only to do this job of dancing, then she has the right to choose that employment.
So you see her more as a victim.
Yes, sir, I do.
What is All India about All India service? IPS is an All India service, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
What is All India character about it? You get born in a particular state. Okay, rest of the life you spend in that state. What is All India about it? I think it's a misnomer.
Sir, what makes the All India services truly All India is that an officer could be from anywhere and they could get posted in any other state. They learn the local language and they work there for a majority of their career. And they also go on central deputations where they work with the central government.
How many of them go? How many of them get empaneled?
So I don't know the exact percentage, but here in the NPA I've been finding that quite a few officers do prefer central deputations also. So that's what makes us All India service, sir.
Dhatri, in Delhi or in Andhra Pradesh, you find women are leading movements,
Yes, sir.
two movements. In Andhra, they have Amravati. In Shalimar, you find ladies are doing.
Yes, sir.
Now, how can we see this phenomenon? Can we take it as a strategy of the people to put women in front of the movements, or is it the assertion and the emergence of women? How can you look at this?
So thank you for the tricky question, sir, because even while I was studying women's movements in sociology, they always seemed like a bit of a puzzle to me. Because you take any other movements, like be it backward caste movements or environment movements, other movements, we always find that these are led by a leader and they have that all the check boxes of a mass movement. But when it comes to women's movements, these have been very fluid and leaderless. These are just women coming out suddenly for a cause that they feel passionate about and protesting. So even in these two causes, I feel like these have been aspects that touched women, so they have come out in their own way without being led by a particular leader as such.
What we observe in India, most of the ladies, they are traditional and they go by whatever tradition has interested them. They go by whatever husbands, whatever their parents and this thing. As a process, what is happening is we have been carrying the same for generations together. We got a direct to that's called a duty, a fundamental duty for us.
Yes, sir.
To go for a scientific approach in our life.
Yes, sir.
So you are aware there is a constitutional obligation on us.
Yes.
Now tell us what exactly this mindset, the scientific mindset or scientific temper, you can call it as, and how it can be inculcated. So is it a right thing to inculcate or not? Or if so, what steps we need to take to do so among women?
Okay, scientific temperament with respect to women, because they have been traditionally inclined. So it is true that a lot of Indian women, their families have an overpowering influence on them. But despite being traditional, women can still cultivate a scientific temperament, sir. Such as recently in the movie where it was shown that a team of women that worked for Mangalyan, they were all very family oriented as well, but still they could carry forward the virtues of scientific temperament. So these are not mutually exclusive as such, sir, unless the traditional restrictions go to a point where they are restricting the women's growth. Unless that happens, I think these two can go hand in hand.
No, we have not defined what is scientific temperament, just what I asked.
So scientific temperament is the curiosity and the inclination of a person to think in a more rational and scientific manner, to develop that curiosity and urge to be more scientific.
Okay. So we need some change. So change is the law of the life. People actually.
True, sir. True. Yes, sir.
So as an officer, when you are posted in a district, very, very backward. So you can tell, there are many backward districts.
Yes.
So under such scenario, how are you going to enforce change? That means your call is not only for the your police duties.
Yes,
So you must go beyond the call of your duty, and there you want to bring change.
Yes, sir.
So what type of change you can envisage among such people?
So my approach would depend on what it is that I'm working on, the sphere that I'm working on, the sphere of change that I'm working on. To speak about, say, a general approach, it has to be, first I'll focus on the socialization, sir. That is, when you catch them early, the change will be permanent and easier as well. So my focus would be on, say, go to schools, go to young mothers and teach them how they have to raise their kids. Try to inspire them at that level. So apart from the socialization level, even grown-ups can get used to change if it's voluntary. So it has to be a more persuasive approach where we show them good case studies as to why a particular change is required. It will do them good and their society good.
So what we have been observing from the independence, prior to independence and after independence also, prior to independence and to a large extent after the independence, we find a lot of public intellectuals. But that space of the public intellectual is now restricted. Now, can you throw some light on this particular phenomenon?
So in the sense, are you asking me to explain why it is?
Yeah. Who is a public intellectual? Why the space is shrinking?
So according to me, public intellectuals are those that think in a way that they question whatever is to be questioned in the society without the fear of conformity.
Exactly.
They dare to go beyond the squares and lines that are drawn by the society in general. This is a broad definition of a public intellectual, sir. And all across history, public intellectuals have always had it difficult because they are the ones that are questioning the status quo. They are raising new questions that make us all uncomfortable. So it has been like that, sir. Public intellectuals have always fought this resistance, and that's what has made their ideals inspiration for the coming generations.
No, why this space is shrinking? Earlier we used to have so many people, they used to talk about anything. So there was no fear of the sedition or fear of the act or fear of the people arresting like that. A small girl going on the stage saying something, immediately she is arrested. Amulya case you have.
Yes.
So the issue is that why this space is so shrinking these days?
So the paranoia around maintaining law and public order, sometimes it crosses over the citizens' right to express their opinion. And Supreme Court has again and again made clear that sedition law shouldn't be used to suppress dissent, because without dissent, democracy has no meaning.
Exactly.
But in an overurge to maintain the public order, to prevent any kind of violence that might emanate from it, we have often found that there is a suppression of fundamental rights.
Okay, last question to you. One metallurgist who made a great remark, a great change in India, not in metallurgy, but in some other field. Who was that person?
So are you referring to Sundar Pichai, Mr. Sundar Pichai?
On India, I'm talking about.
In India, okay. I'm not aware, sir.
What is Korean?
Okay.
Right. So,
Thank you, sir.
I'll ask something completely different. What do you think of Donald Trump's visit?
Visit to India.
Yeah.
Sir, I feel it's receiving a lot of hype given that the no-bar person that he is, the kind of statements that he makes, and also there's a lot of anticipation regarding a trade deal that they will be finalizing now.
So are we going overboard? Is it a lot of hype, a lot of bluster? A lot of issues are being raised.
So around the hype, so the excitement is something we can't stop, sir, because he is the kind of a person who makes statements like India has not been treating me very well, but their prime minister is a close friend to me. So this person says what he means, and so the kind of media hype is something that is bound to happen around a person like him. But even apart from that, sir, now we see India is getting closer to the US. So we are at a very important stage in our relationship, and this visit is also important for the same reason.
No, we've been close to India for a long time. Why the sudden closeness?
Yes, sir. I mean, over the last 7-8 years, I mean.
Do you see any great opportunity for India by doing all this, or we are just pandering to his whims and fancies, prostrating before building a wall and all that? Is there any opportunity, or why we are doing all this?
So definitely there's an opportunity given the influential diaspora we have in the US and the influence that they have in the US politics as well. Second is that if we do finalize a trade deal, it will help Indian service sector, and the kind of restrictions that are being imposed on our citizens to go to the US to work, H-1B visas can also be made easier if we are able to negotiate with the US.
But all this is happening, our Prime Minister is gone, road shows, NRIs, so many things have been done.
Yes,
So
sir.
that is nothing very different.
Yes, sir.
There is some other expectancy that can happen because of globally what's happening.
Sir, even the US role in Afghanistan and all, we can try and get a better bargain from the US if
So we'll
negotiations
get
work.
murdered there. Indians unnecessarily will get murdered if we get into Afghanistan. That is a tactical move by the US to get out and push Indians.
True, sir. Which is
Anyway,
why we need to.
Anyway, I think you are not getting the whole in US-China trade war. And presently, the Chinese the Chinese dragon is tied up in knots. For what reason, So India has an opportunity to attract US investment to India.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So if Donald Trump, who's talking, as you say, whimsically or whatever, supposing he announces a multi-billion, you can add any zeros, we're very liberal with adding deal, then you get a lot of things going in India.
Yes, sir.
So that is the expectancy of. So therefore you are doing all this.
Yes, yes.
You
Thank
agree?
you. Thank you,
Now
sir.
you agree. Why?
I do agree with you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, just that I wasn't able to arrive at that point, but thank you for raising it.
No, I think this is one opportunity that people see. Perhaps that is why you are wooing Trump more than earlier.
Yes, sir.
So my next question is: have you heard of COVID 2019?
Yes, sir. The coronavirus that is now taking over China.
Okay. What is zoonosis?
So zoonotic diseases are the ones that have their source in animals. So humans contact them from the animals. So
is there any
coronavirus is,
correlation with this?
yes, so coronavirus is also a kind of a zoonotic virus. Sir.
So what is the threat that India would face?
So currently there was a coronavirus patient reported in Kerala, but they've successfully discharged the patient. For now, based on the newspaper reports that have come across, it is found that India is relatively safe and is okay with handling coronavirus. But the problem with diseases like this is today we cannot restrict who is entering our borders or the kind of people that come and leave the country. So a threat like this can emanate from any direction, given that these diseases are so difficult to find vaccine, medicine to them at such a short notice.
So we still can't breathe easy.
Yes, sir, we still can't, and this is an incident which must awake us to be prepared for future such problems as well.
You are now in NPA.
Yes,
You
sir.
are undergoing training. What is your view as a police officer getting trained on the role in the action that the police, Telangana police, have taken in sorting out whatever the delivering instant justice in this Disha case?
Yes, sir, the highly polarizing Disha.
You must have been
Encounters
having a lot of
and
debates. You yourself must be having some thoughts. What do you think of this?
Yes, sir. Given that the judicial inquiry is going on, I cannot comment on whether the encounter itself was done correctly or not. So I leave that aspect aside, sir. But apart from that, to me, instant justice has never felt right, and the reason is that there are multiple reasons, sir. One reason is that after the killing of the accused, our entire discussion has stopped being around what the police could have done better in preventing the crime itself. That is, be it early response, patrolling services, or being more approachable through dial 100. So this is one thing, sir. The other thing is that if the society is more reliant on instant justice, that also to an extent indicates erosion in belief in the law and order system of the country.
I feel the IPS requires a lot of women who will stand up to put law and order in place, then take care of women's issues, children issues, and a lot of things in society. women are 50%.
Yes, sir.
I think IAS has reasonably enough number. But I bit disappointed that you want to move into IAS, then be here and perhaps contribute more. Don't you feel there is a greater chance here to serve more people, 50% women, then children who are dependent. And we are all told, we also write, to take care of the woman in the family. So a woman, the family is. If you protect the tiger, the entire forest is protected. So you are looking at a large universe from where you are going to a small, my gut feeling, small world. So what draws you away from such an opportunity?
So both the services provide opportunity to serve women in particular. Thing is, one will serve on a policing aspect and the other can do from the other diverse aspects, that is the IAS. So, sir, to me, I am completely okay with serving as an IPS as well, because that is something that I've always loved and grown up wanting to be, which is why this was the last attempt, sir. I haven't taken any extraordinary leave to appear again in the exam. So I'll only be appearing for the interview. If I do get into the IAS, then as you said, I can focus on women in diverse aspects, such as be it health, education, and other aspects. If I'm if I continue to be in the IPS, then also I'll get to serve in the policing aspects, sir.
Yeah, Dhatri, you have very pleasant personality. Positive things, let me put it. You are very articulate and you are very clear and you are able to express very clearly, I could see, on any subject, any question. You are able to take the question and very clearly you expressed. But only some of the questions they put, then you also have, you always give time after the question, you are always giving a pause and formulating your answer. That's a good way.
Okay, sir.
But like the questions about this and you are trying to get the you can't have instant justice, but you didn't tell what are the other things you can do as a police officer.
Okay.
There are lot many things. NIA, National Investigating Agency.
Yes, sir.
Why the terrorist cases, Mumbai blast, you see, it took 10 years to convict. Whereas after NIA is given, within 1 year, their convictions are coming.
Yes.
Similarly, these kind of cases can have a special courts, special prosecutors, special police officers to investigate. In fact, you don't mix it with the normal. Like that, you should have some ideas and views. And you mentioned in this. In your hobbies and you have leadership qualities. This is exactly,
Yes.
you should be able to visualize what others could not see. That is the main quality of a leader is, others cannot see but you are able to see. How you are able to see in all these questions? Something more you have to give it, in fact. That will justify, but otherwise your answers, I must say, very clear and very articulate, I must say. There is nothing no complaint, in fact.
Thank you, sir.
Just to supplement, you have all the positive qualities to become an AS officer. You get selected, I'm quite sure.
Thank you, sir.
One or two suggestions would be that your understanding of global issues, national issues is okay.
Okay, sir.
But your understanding of the local issues also
Okay, sir.
needs to be much better. The surroundings where you are living in, the local bodies who serve you,
Okay, sir.
and concerns regarding environment include concerns about water wastage,
Yes.
sustainable development, wastewater treatment, recycle, reuse. With reference to the area where you live, you should have factual understanding. Therefore, you need to talk to somebody who knows the subject better, and then get the details and be ready to face questions on Hyderabad city, metro transport system, drinking water sources, sewage treatment. They are environment related.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then the local bodies, municipality, water board, etc. Then being a government, like the government provident fund, state government's provident funds, etc. They don't require legislature approval for withdrawing or crediting.
Yes, sir.
Because they are not governmental revenues. They are only collecting, acting as a banker and giving back. That's public. Contingency fund is also part of the budget where if you have not made a provision for a particular item of expenditure,
Yes.
suddenly government feels that they have to spend, it is drawn from the contingency fund.
Yes.
And subsequently, the legislature has to approve that expenditure. Then it gets replenished.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's like a fund account where you draw from there and again credit it back.
Yes.
So you must be clear because you are already government servant.
Yes.
So if you know this, it will be adding to your personality.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Good luck.
Generally good, but only thing is you tended to take this interview more like a drawing room conversation. Too much of gesticulations.
Okay, sir.
Okay?
So
That you avoid.
gestures.
No, too much of, hand movements here and there, as if, you are sitting in a drawing room and having a conversation, informal kind of a conversation.
Okay.
It gives that kind of an impression.
Okay.
I'm sure since you have already faced an interview and what should be the body language, I'm sure you have some idea about it. Huh?
Okay, sir. Like any suggestions?
No, suggestion
You
in
can
the sense
sit back
you
actually.
can be a little more
comfortable. Go back.
little more formal.
Relaxed
and,
way.
Relaxed. Be relaxed. That's it.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, here it may be a mock interview, but we would have expected you to be, behaving in the manner in which you behave in an interview
Yes,
board.
no, sir. I would also like to be formal, sir. Like to tell the corrections I will make.
Yeah.
You don't have to carry a notebook for your interview.
Yes, I don't have to.
Okay. Your answers are very diplomatic, right from the word go.
Yes.
The very first question sir asked about moving from IPS to IAS and all that. It was very diplomatic, and all through you maintained that diplomatic
Sir, but
tone.
that was also true, sir.
No, I mean, I'm not saying. Please
No
listen.
complaint, actually. It's a positive point, actually.
But then somehow I felt that you have taken a very quick stand on this what is called this demand for reservation in private sector.
Okay, sir.
That it shouldn't have been. First, you should have articulated the issue. Then you should have taken
Okay,
a
sir.
stand. But suddenly you straight away said yes, it should be done.
Yes, sir.
It's not
We
that
can
kind
keep
of an
away
approach.
from. So this is what you have used. We can keep away from the reservation per side. So that conclusion you have given. So Sir has given later as to what should be, what are the facilities they have been using, why the social justice can be done. So this aspect you have to go.
In a sense, the case has not been presented properly. On the contrary, you have just given your opinion
Okay.
straight away. Okay? You slowly build up your argument.
Yes, sir. I'll keep it.
That should be the approach. Okay? And I really liked your response to the question on women in
The bar dance.
bars.
Yeah,
That's really good.
Thank you, sir.
Very nice. Okay. As a
And you tend to speak pretty fast. I think maybe you can slow down a bit.
She can't slow down.
No, she can't. She is used to.
It's okay. We can understand.
Yeah.
So already you have informed about the attire, so I have to take care of that.
Yes.
So we never thought that you are the candidate. So
And walked in.
when you walked in.
I'll be wearing a sari, sir, for the actual interview.
Okay, your hair also you have to take care.
Okay, sir. I'll do it.
Then as far as the emotional balance is concerned, you are very serious, but you must show that you are having that control. So the moment I look at you are a serious girl, so seriousness gives sometimes that you are emotional.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so that you must strike a balance.
Okay, sir.
Okay, you must put a small smile when you answer.
Okay,
So
sir.
you are smiling, but that is not enough. The
Okay.
pleasantness should come in your face.
Okay.
Emotionally, you have to take care of those things.
Okay, sir.
Expression, as I've said, you are a bit fast. So
Okay, sir.
think about it. We don't say that you reduce, but think about that. And you got very good listening skills. You are listening, that's a very nice thing. And the conceptual clarity and all these things are okay. Nice. So,
Thank you, sir.
I endorse most of what I said. I think as he has pointed out, I think you have to be very aware of your surroundings, from where you come from.
Okay.
And you have also chosen sociology, and you live in a city which is one of the most happening. And then the culture, art, history, science, IT, you look at anything, crime, we are all very heavy in all these aspects, technology. So you need to be, I think, very aware of your surroundings.
Okay.
So I think you good knowledge and depth so that you can, your articulation is good.
Yeah.
So you can, I think, draw the interviewer into the areas where you are strong. That I think is easier for you.
Okay.
When is the interview?
So it's on 3rd March.
Oh. Still you have time to practice these things.
To revise some
Especially
facts.
the local issues. I think
Sure,
you are
sir.
little weak on that.
Yes, sir, I am, sir.
That you try to improve. But otherwise
Okay,
you will be able to do well. There is no doubt.
Okay, sir. So a few doubts that I had. Generally, towards the end, they ask us if is there anything that you would like to talk about. Is it appreciated if we talk about something or?
No, you don't have to.
No,
There is no compulsory.
go into that trap.
Okay.
No.
So that's the trap, in fact.
Okay.
So you may ask, you may raise some issues,
Yes, sir.
then that may lead to some other things. So interview is interview. That's it.
Okay, sir. And
No, if there is any, for instance, if you feel that there is any derogatory question purposely put by a member to provoke you,
okay.
then you may like to seek a clarification. If you feel offended with the way one of the interviewers has behaved with you, you can always raise that as a person with self-respect.
Yes.
But normally it doesn't happen. 99.9 cases it doesn't happen.
It doesn't have.
Yes, sir.
Code is very nice.
Yes, sir.
Record here. And they want to put you at ease because
Yes,
they know pretty well that at your age you will be tension. You got the tension, all these things. But slightly they may put some pressure, but not to the extent of getting the offense like that.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. That was.
All the best.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.